His poetry is actually concentrating mainly on both loss and how to heal from it. Impalpable is something that is indescribable. It goes up as vapor, it changes its form but still remains the same. It comes down to give water to the waterless areas. So rain doesn't have life, but here the poet is personifying. He is treating rain as a person there. Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all the young minds of class 11 CBSE. I am Dr. Shalini, your English teacher at Prep School. Today we are here to understand one of the wonderful poems, The Voice of the Rain, written by Walt Whitman. Let us see what is there in today's session. It's a very short poem but a very beautiful poem because it talks about the rain. So let us see what is there in today's session. We are going to understand about the poet first, then we'll have a little background or the theme, what the poem is all about. Then we'll understand the summary of the 3 stanzas that is there in this poem. As I'm telling you the summary, I'll discuss about the literary devices that are there in this poem. So let us start with the introduction of the poet. So this is Walt Whitman. He was an American poet. He wrote wonderful poems actually, and he was an essayist as well as a journalist. He was almost all in all. He has played various roles in his life. So he was the part, that is the transition time. He was a part of the transcendentalism to realism, that part. Okay, so he was there during the transition time. So Whitman actually worked as a journalist, as a teacher, as a government clerk. Also, as I told you, he has played various roles in his profession. His poetry is actually concentrating mainly on both loss and how to heal from it. So there will be usually loss that is shown and also how to heal from that loss. So that is what is given in his poem. So most of his poems are that is admired for that theme only. So what is the background of this poem? Let us understand. So this poem is actually a conversation between the poet and the rain. So as the raindrops are falling, the poet talks to the rain in a very soft voice, and when the poet questions something, the rain explains. So what is the eternal journey? So how it comes from the clouds and how it goes back to earth. So this eternal journey it talks about, and it also tells about the birthplace and also that is the earth. It tells everything to the poet. So this is the voice of rain. So this is a very beautiful poem. I request you to please read it and enjoy it after listening to this video. So let us start with the first stanza. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer, as here translated. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. So here you can see the poet is starting the conversation. He is asking the rain, who are you and who art thou? Art is nothing but are, thou is nothing but you. So this is the old English that the poet is using here. Fine. So, who are you? So, he says it to the rain. Said I to the soft falling shower. So, here shower means the rain. So, he talks to the rain, which, strange to tell. So, which means he is referring to the rain there. Fine. Strange to tell. So, the rain usually doesn't talk, isn't it? But here it is strange that it has spoken. Gave me an answer. The rain gives an answer to the poet. So, what does it say? As here translated. Now you can see how innocently the poet has written here. He has translated the words of the rain. Like we cannot understand the language of rain. So the poet has translated it. Fine. So it is like he has personified rain over here. He is talking to some inanimate thing wherein he has put a lot of life in it. Fine. So he is translating the words of rain. So what does the rain say? I am the poem of earth. So the rain says, I am poem of earth. So it is telling who it is. Said the voice of the rain. Then what else does it say? Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land. So it goes up eternally and it again comes back to the land and reaches the bottomless sea. So sea doesn't have a bottom. It is believed that sea doesn't have a bottom. So it tells about the water cycle. Okay, it comes from the clouds, it reaches the bottomless sea. All the rivers meet the sea. There is a proverb. So it tells about that also. Okay, so the word impalpable means which you cannot describe. Okay, eternal I rise, you are not able to describe that. Something that is indescribable. Okay, something that cannot be described. So that is called as impalpable. Okay, you can write it, you can make a note of this word. Impalpable is something that is indescribable. The rain rises out of the land and reaches the bottomless sea. So this is just a small journey that it has started telling about. Okay, so let us see the second stanza. So before we move on to the second stanza, you can just make a note here of the rhyming words. So just check if there are any rhyming words. Shower translated rain, sea. So there are no rhyming words at all. Okay, so since there are no rhyming words, there is no rhyme scheme at all. Okay, there is no rhyme scheme at all. So there will be no rhyming words, and of course this is written in free verse then. Okay, it is written in free verse. Free verse means those poems that are written without rhyming words, they are said to be written in free verse. Okay, and also the sentence doesn't end in the end of the line. It continues to the next line. Again, it continues to the next line. Somewhere it ends in the middle of the sentence. Okay, so that way it is supposed to be written in free verse. Let us move on to the second stanza. Upward to heaven, it is describing the journey again. Upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed and yet the same. I descend to leave the draughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. So it is talking about the various forms that the rain changes to. So what is it? Upward to heaven. So here it moves towards the clouds, whence vaguely formed altogether. So it is talking about the vapor. Fine. So here it is one form of rain over here. So it is talking about the vapor. It rises towards the clouds. So vapor evaporates, isn't it? It evaporates and forms the clouds. So that is what it is talking about here. Changed and yet the same. Now water has changed to a different form. Okay. Though the form of water changes, it can be solid, it can be liquid, or it can be gaseous, isn't it? So here it has changed its form. From liquid it has changed to the gaseous state. So it just changes and yet the same. Though it has changed, it remains the same. When it comes back, it remains the same. Okay. I descend to leave the draughts. Descend is to come down. Okay. Ascend, descend. Ascending order, descending order, you must have learned, right? So descend is to come down. So I descend to lave the draughts, lave to wash or to provide water. Drought where the state where there is no water at all, or famine you can say. Okay, so it comes down to wash the draughts or atomies, that is the earth, and also the dust layers. There is dust and all of the globe. Globe, it is referring to the earth. Okay, so here it goes up as vapor. Again, it comes back in the same form, that is in the form of water. Water evaporates and forms the clouds. Again, it comes back in the form of water only to provide water to the waterless areas. So it comes down to the earth, and all that in them without me. And you can see, though there were a lot of seeds and whatever it is in the waterless areas, the places where there was no water, all that in them without me means if there is no rainwater at all, what would they have been? They would be only seeds. Suppose they were seeds, then they would have remained the same because there was no rain at all. Latent and unborn. They would not have any life. They would have been unborn. They would not have sprouted at all. So this is what the rain is telling. So stanza 1, it starts talking. It just tells it in one line that it goes up and comes down in the same form. In the second stanza, it is telling what and all it is doing. Fine. It goes up as vapor. It changes its form but still remains the same. It comes down to give water to the waterless areas or the dust laden places of the globe, and at last it gives some life to the seeds that are there in these areas. So this was the second stanza. Here also you can notice that there is no end to any of the sentences, and also there is no rhyming word at all. Okay, so from here to here it is actually one sentence, but since there was no place, it is taken to the next line. It is not that it has continued to the next line. Okay, so this is one of the lines. So there are 3 lines only in this stanza. There is no end to the sentence at all. It is actually written as one sentence only. Let us move on to the third stanza, that is the last stanza. So here the poet talks about what the rain tells, how it returns to its origin. Okay, so here it says, and forever by day and night I give back life to my own origin and make pure and beautify it. For the song issuing from its birthplace, after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. So here you can see the rain is telling that by day and night means within no time, as the rain comes back to its own origin, I give back life to my own origin. So what is considered as the origin of the rain? It is the earth that is considered. You should not consider the city to which it is limited. Okay, so you can consider as the whole earth as the origin of rain, and when it goes back by day and night, it comes back to its own origin. Okay, so it comes back to its own origin means it comes back to earth and make pure. It purifies the earth. It washes everything, isn't it? It purifies, and also that time it looks very beautiful. So it beautifies the earth also. That is what the earth is talking about over here. It comes back to earth, it purifies the earth, and also it beautifies, it enhances the beauty of the earth. For the song, here this part the poet is comparing the earth, what rain does, to a song from a singer. So this song also issuing from the birthplace. So issuing is to start, okay, from its birthplace. Birthplace is the heart of the singer. So that song also starts from the heart of the singer. It travels various places. After fulfillment, after the singer is fulfilled, it goes to various places. It wanders, that is wandering means to travel to various places, means in various places people listen to the song. Again, it comes back to the singer only. Wrecked, that means changed or unchanged. Okay, unwrecked is just the opposite, that is unchanged. Duly with love, but with the same love it returns. It comes back to the singer only. So here the poet is comparing the song that goes out of the singer and comes back to him with the same love. Similarly, the rain also, it vaporizes, it goes and reaches the heaven. Again, it comes back to its birthplace to purify and beautify it. So this is what the poet is talking about. In this poem, we can see various literary devices. So which are those? The first thing you can see is personification. Okay, personification is the poet is putting some life to the inanimate rain. So rain doesn't have life, but here the poet is personifying. He is treating rain as a person there. He is treating rain as somebody who has life. So that is personification here. Then we can also see metaphor. Metaphor is nothing but the comparison, direct comparison, that is metaphor. Okay, so here you can see the comparison without the usage of like or something like that. So here the poet uses the phrase poem of the earth, wherein the rain is compared to the poem of the earth. So that comparison is called as metaphor. We also can see imagery. Okay, imagery is the visual imagination that you can get in your mind when you read this poem. Okay, so when you, as you read the poem, you can imagine raindrops are falling, then it is beautifying. So when you read this beautifying, purifying and all, you can imagine that rain is falling very heavily, and leaves and all are washed, and everywhere it is looking beautiful. So all this you can imagine. Fine. So that is called as imagery. So at last you can see hyperbole also. Hyperbole is something wherein you exaggerate. The poet exaggerates the situation. So there is a phrase bottomless sea. Though we can say that seas do not have bottom, that there is a proverb, but here the poet exaggerates it. So there will be one point wherein a person can reach the bottom of the sea, but here the poet uses the phrase bottomless sea to show that seas do not have bottom at all. That means he wants to show that rain is eternal, how deep it can reach also. So here he has also used hyperbole. So these are the four different literary devices that are used. Apart from this, you may have assonance, consonance, everything. That is, repetition of consonant sounds is called as consonance. Repetition of vowel sounds are called as assonance. Okay. So this was the summary of the voice of the rain. So I request you to go through the poem, that is read the poem after watching this video. You will be understanding it better. Then come back to the live class so that we can discuss about the question answers. Hope you enjoyed this session. Let us meet again very shortly with another more interesting session. So till then, keep learning. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.